Health Stream. Hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to review Medical Medium's third book, Liver Rescue. This is a great book and it's really for everyone. People think, when I gave people advice based on the first book I read, Thyroid Healing, the reaction I would get is, I don't have a thyroid issue. Well, first of all, you don't know that. Second of all, doesn't matter. The thyroid issue, when you finally realize there's a thyroid issue, there's a lot of other things going on that resulted in this thyroid issue. That's how you knew about it. That's how it manifested in your consciousness. But a lot of bad things were happening in your body before that happened. And I guarantee you, just living in society, even if you live the cleanest life you possibly can, your liver is probably suffering. And you'll see that if you read this book. I mean, this book is ridiculous. It's like a Bible. Honestly, everyone should read it. It is so important. I can't tell you enough, right? Your liver keeps you alive. Your liver does like 10,000 things for you to try to keep you alive. And we really are not good to our livers. So this is one of the fundamental things that even if you're healthy, you should really follow the tenets of this book, because you will cease or reverse your aging. You'll enjoy your life better. You'll feel better. You'll just have more control and satisfaction in your life. And who doesn't want that? So the first part of this book, part 1, talks about the role of the liver and all of the jobs that it has and why it's so important. So everything that I was just talking about is covered in part 1. Very important. So go to the library if you don't want to buy the book, but then you'll want to buy the book once you start reading it. But start reading, and then you'll understand why this is so important. Part 2 talks about all of the things in the world that negatively impact the liver and how all of this negatively impacts your health. So, we'll talk more about these negative things in a second. But interestingly is that usually when you hear about the liver and liver problems, what do you think immediately? You think alcohol. And what I was surprised at in this book was that alcohol is mentioned, but it's not the focus. So that kind of gave me a little, because, okay, so even if you drink alcohol in moderation or not at all, that's good, but it's not it's only one small part of what it takes to keep your liver healthy, and also what all of the things bombarding and damaging your liver. So it's good to know what they are. The third part of this book talks about the symptoms and conditions explained. And I'm going to, let's see, where is that? It talks about all the specific things that we focus on, or how the issues with your liver and the liver damage manifest in your life. So, part 3, here's the contents, so many contents. Talks about, and I should have read the whole title, but it's probably redundant in what I'm going to talk to you about right now anyway, because look at this title. All of these. So, it talks about diabetes and blood sugar imbalance, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart palpitations, adrenal problems, chemical and food sensitivities, methylation problems, acne, eczema and psoriasis, sibo, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, bloating, constipation and IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, brain fog, emotional liver, which is mood struggles, and SA and SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, PANDAS, which I don't remember what that is, jaundice and baby liver, autoimmune liver and hepatitis, cirrhosis and liver scar tissue, liver cancer, and gallbladder sickness. So you can see, you don't have to be diagnosed with a liver issue. And to be honest, by the time they find liver abnormalities through your blood, it's sadly already too late. So don't wait for that. Do not wait for a medical doctor to tell you from a blood test your liver is screwed, because then you're screwed. Like, why would you wait for that? Don't wait for that. That's not good. You're going to regret that for sure. Don't take chances. You're too important. Your body's too important. And it tries so hard to keep you alive and healthy. Be good to it. Be good to it. It loves you. Love it back. And who do you, I don't know anyone that doesn't have one of these issues. But does anyone say that's a liver problem? No. No. Acne? No. How many teenagers do you know that have these problems? Chemical and food sensitivities. Look, I've been doing the celery for over 2 years now, like 2.5 years now. And not only have I, knock on wood, not had symptoms in those 2 years, but I also just found out I just cured myself of cat allergies, which are like the hardest allergies to get rid of. It's unbelievable. I've been living with 2 cats for 2 months. I used to one time I sat in my friend's passenger seat of her car, and someone the day before who had cats sat in that seat. And I got in her car and immediately got stuffy and itchy and watering eyes and said, "Who has a cat in this car?" And she said, "Oh, my friend was sitting there yesterday and she has a cat." But I've lived with 2 cats for almost 2 months. No problems. I can't tell you enough how all of this advice and these recommendations have saved my life. And I do a bunch of other things, so I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but obviously I feel strongly enough about the information in these books, and I'll say it over and over and over again, because I may or may not know you, but I love you enough to want you to be healthy. If you're seeking answers, then you found one here. Have faith. It can happen. It can happen. So part 4 is finally the answers we're all waiting for, which is, okay, what do you do about it? So you read about 300 pages, I think. Part 4 starts on 220. So you read about 200 pages of why you need to do this, why it's important, and then finally, you get to the part where they're like, okay, what can you do about it now that you're scared to death? And part 4 tells you that. So it starts, the first recommendation is lower your fat consumption, because your liver processes fat. So if you're bombarding it with fat, then it can't really focus on any of its other functions. Then it talks about all of the troublemakers in our world and our society that damage the liver. And the troublemakers are petrochemicals, chemical neuroantagonists. And when you read this, it's literally like everything. Everything you smell, breathe, drink, taste, touch. And chemical neuroantagonists include smoke of any kind, fertilizers, fluoride, chloride, pesticides, and there are, from book 1, there are teas that are directed to help you to cleanse you of these chemical neuroantagonists. So I'll put them there. I'll put one of the tea videos there. But also the link to book 1, which talks about it. Food chemicals, which include aspartame and MSG, which is like in everything. The pathogenic group, which is your viruses, your bacteria, your mold. Domestic chemicals, which are cleaners, fragrances, plug-ins that scent your home, candles, perfumes, anything that smells, really, anything that has a fragrance. Your lotions, makeup, pharmaceuticals, toxic heavy metals. And I'll put here the link to the heavy toxic metal smoothie, detox smoothie. Radiation, there's a tea for radiation, which I don't think I did yet. But eventually I'll put it there. Adrenaline, rainfall, and rainfall, why? Because our rainfall is not clean, right? Moisture comes up from the atmosphere, which is already polluted and is concentrated in the droplets and then falls on us. So rainfall exposure is also negative for us. Then he goes on to discuss positive healing foods, and he breaks it down, healing foods and supplements. So he goes into all the healing foods, so for example dates, and then he talks about, so here's figs, and then there's a paragraph on figs, what they help and why they're good. But then he talks about, the end of this chapter, he talks about supplements. So he'll have a symptom there, or an ailment there, and then he'll go and list a bunch of the supplements that will help with that thing. And you can take one of them, maybe take one of them for a month and then take the next one, or take a couple. I mean, you don't want to overload yourself, but some of the, well, they're all of the symptoms that we talked about before. The first category is everyday liver and health maintenance, so that's probably not a bad idea for everyone. Acne, adrenal problems, all the things that we talked about earlier. Dark under eye circles, constipation, cirrhosis, child liver, diabetes, dirty blood syndrome, eczema, emotional liver, energy issues and fatigue, who doesn't have that? Fatty liver, sluggish liver, gout. So I don't know if you remember earlier in the stream, if you watched, I talked about how I thought I had gout and my hand was hurting, and my friend said it was maybe arthritis, and I still have this kind of a bump here, and I said, I'm not living with this. This is going to go away. I'm fixing this. And boom. God bless, knock on wood. It's gone. It's gone. Heart palpitations. You can heal yourself. Food is medicine. High blood pressure, hepatitis, IBS, hot flashes. You have menopause, you think it's menopause, or yeah, you think you're having issues from that. Hot flashes, hormonal problems, inflammation. Who doesn't have that? Maybe I should look at that right now. I always feel like I have inflammation. Liver aging, liver cancer. Whose liver's not aging? Oh, tell me. Liver tumors, liver scar tissue, liver worms and parasites. I would do that just because, just because I don't want that. Methylation, Raynaud syndrome, pandas, mystery hunger, SAD, SIBO, varicose veins, UTIs, yeast infections, strep throat, mystery sore throat, sinus infections. Oh, I should look at that too. I have a deviated septum. Peppermint, that's great. Rose hips, turmeric, vitamin C, vitamin D. I take that. Lemon balm, hibiscus. Yeah, taking all these because these are zinc are in his teas. So I've taken a lot of this stuff, and with the teas, again, I'll reiterate from book 1, he has a number of teas that he recommends, and for a month or for however long I have the boxes of teas, I will drink those and do that once a year so that you're getting this continual cleansing. So now, so that's weight gain. Who doesn't need that? So that's 20 pages of supplements for different ailments that he lists. Next is the big kahuna, the liver 369. And now I dropped my notes, so excuse me. The liver 369. So this is a 9-day eating regime to help you cleanse your liver in a healthy, safe way. Now, I've known some other people who've tried it. They only got to day 3. I got to day 6, but I didn't get to day 9. I may be able to do that now. I would like to do that before I start working, but I don't know. it's a big commitment, and I think my fear is mental, but because 9 days seems like a lot to be so restrictive on your eating, and I don't have any acute symptoms right now. If I did, I would definitely do this, but it's not a bad idea to do this once a year for sure. So the first 3 days, and throughout the whole 9 days, and forever really, he says you really shouldn't eat any fat before noon to give your liver a break. Now, in the first 3 days, you can eat your normal food. Here's the first 3 days, that's on page 342. And I wrote myself little notes because it just made it easier. So here's the first 3 days in my notes and what I would need to do every day. And then a shopping list for the first 3 days. What you would need to buy. And I broke it down, and then there's the second 3 days and then the final 3 days. So the first 3 days you can still eat your normal food, but you would also add lemon water in the morning, celery juice, some apples, some dates, and then at night lemon water and lemon balm tea. So what you're doing is you're preparing your system to flush things out, because if you're all gunked up and you cleanse yourself radically, which a lot of other detoxes do, it can't flush out because you're all gunked up. So how's that going to help you? You cleanse yourself, you shock your system, put all these toxins out into your system, and you can't flush them out. So they just go back, and it makes it worse because now you just put your liver through more work to clean you up. So this helps you to prep your system the first 3 days, prep your system to flush. And you're eating also your normal food on the first 3 days. Second 3 days, day 4 through 6, and then here's my shopping list for the second 3 days. So it's a lot of fresh food, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. The second 3 days, you don't eat any of your normal food. You only eat what's in the plan. Avoid radical fats. Stick to these foods. Eat until you feel full. And in the morning, lemon or lime water, your celery juice again, or liver rescue smoothie, steamed asparagus, or liver rescue salad. And the recipes are also in here later on in the book. Dinner, steamed asparagus or liver rescue salad. And then evening, an apple, lemon or lime water, hibiscus or lemon balm tea. And those are for the second 3 days. So you're not eating any animal proteins, you're just eating fruits and vegetables, but you're eating enough of it, or you're eating as much as you want of it. And there are recipes, if you don't want to just eat the apples, how to make apple sauce, which may be more palatable to you, a little tasty little treat. I like them. I made his recipe and it's very good. It's very simple. So then the final 3 days, I think the reason why I was afraid, which is weird because I fast all the time, but the final 3 days includes less food and more juice. So here's the final 3 days, and here's the shopping list for the final 3 days. And the only real day that's just juice is really the 9th day. But look, I went through the first 6 and I felt like, I was like, okay, that's good enough. Maybe I'll do the 9 on my next go around. So we'll see how it goes. But in the morning, you're doing lemon or lime water, celery juice or liver rescue smoothie, spinach soup over cucumber noodles, 9 ounces of celery juice, 16 ounces, 2 apples, cucumber slices, celery sticks, steamed squash for dinner or sweet potatoes, steamed asparagus, Brussels sprouts, liver rescue salad, apples, lemon or lime water, hibiscus and lemon balm tea. Again, still avoid the radical fats, stick to the foods here. And then for day 9, you're just drinking lemon water in the morning. Consume 16 to 20 ounces of celery juice twice a day, 16 to 20 ounces of apple and cucumber juice twice a day. Then you blend up some melon, papaya, orange juice, water every 3 hours, and then at night lemon or lime water and hibiscus and lemon balm tea. So, you know, for me it's definitely all psychological because I've done all of these already individually, but I haven't, I guess, done them all in 9 days. So when I do it, I'll do a day by day update so you can see how I fare and see that it's probably not as scary as they make it out to be. Next chapter, we have the liver rescue recipes, which include some of the things that he's asking you to eat in the 369, and then some additional recipes. And his recipes are always very good and very good for you. Finally, after the recipes, we have the liver meditations. So yes, you can meditate on fixing your liver, which is probably a very good idea. You can talk to your liver and tell your liver, I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I didn't know any better. And thank you for loving me and taking care of me anyway. And I will do better, and I'm going to love you back from now on. Not a bad idea. And you can put your hand over your liver. It's on your right side under your ribs. Just go, we're going to get through this together. I promise. So your liver is your number one fan. It's his final message. He has a final note of positivity, which is, you know, I highly recommend reading to the end. So don't just give up after the recipes or the 369. You need that positive motivation and encouragement. So your liver is your number one fan and wants to protect you. You need to love it back so you can both have a happy and healthy life. Yeah, it's very important. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, let me know. Peace out.